reading an ASMR for light novels and just read for something for like hours. Do you think I have a soothing voice? I mean, I could read a book right now if you want. You know what? Hold on. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl. Everyone who saw her liked her, but most of all, her grandmother, who didn't know what to give the child next. And she gave her a little cap made of red velvet because it suited her so well, and she wanted to wear it all the time. She came to be known as Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Riding Hood, here's a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She's sick and weak, and they will do her well. Mind your manners and give her my greetings. Behave yourself on the way, and do not leave the path, or you might fall down and break the glass, and there will be nothing for your sick grandmother." Little Red Riding Hood promised to obey her mother. The grandmother lived out on the woods, half an hour from the village. When Little Red Riding Hood entered the woods, a wolf came up to her. She did not know what a wicked animal he was, and was not afraid of him. "Good day to you, Little Red Riding Hood." "Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Where are you going so early, Little Red Riding Hood?" "To grandmother's." "And there is, and what are you carrying under your apron?" "Grandmother's sick and weak, and I'm taking her some cake and wine we baked yesterday, and they should give her strength." "Little Red Riding Hood, just where does your grandmother live?" "Her house is a good quarter an hour from here, in the woods, and the 3 large oak trees. There is a hedge of hazel bushes there. You must know the place," said Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf thought to himself, "Now there is a tasty bite for me. Just how are you going to catch her?" Then he said, Listen, Little Red Riding Hood. Haven't you seen the beautiful flowers that are blossoming in the woods? Why don't you go and take a look?" "And I don't believe you can hear how beautifully the birds are singing. You're walking along as though you were on your way to school in the village. Is it beautiful? Very beautiful in the woods." I'm gonna read the entire book. We are reading Little Red Riding Hood right now. I don't give a fuck. This is my stream. You are here for the entertainment. Little Red Riding Hood opened her eyes and saw the sunlight breaking down through the trees and how the ground was covered in beautiful flowers. She thought, "If I take a bouquet to grandmother, she will be very pleased. Anyway, it's still early, and I'll be home on time." And she ran off into the woods looking for flowers. Each time she picked one, she thought that she could see an even more beautiful one a little way off, and she ran after it, going further and further into the woods. But the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked on the door. "Who's there?" Little Red Riding Hood, "I'm bringing you some cake and wine. Open the door for me." Just press the hatch," called out the grandmother. "I'm too weak to get up." The wolf pressed the hatch, and the door opened. He stepped inside, went straight to the grandmother's bed, and ate her up. He took her clothes and put them on, and put her cap on his head. He got into her bed and pulled the curtains shut. Little Red Riding Hood had ran after flowers and did not continue on her way to grandmother's until she had gathered all that she could carry. When she arrived, she found, to her surprise, that the door was open. She walked into the parlor and everything looked so strange that she thought, "Oh my God, why am I being so afraid? I usually like it at grandmother's." When she went to the bed and pulled back the curtains, grandmother was lying there with her cap pulled down over her face and looked very strange. "Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with." "Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with." "Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have!" "All the better to grab you with." "Oh, grandmother, what a horribly big mouth you have." "All the better to eat you with." And with that, he jumped out of the bed, jumped on the top of poor little Red Riding Hood, and ate her up. As soon as the wolf had finished this tasty bite, he climbed back into the bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loudly. A huntsman was passing by. He saw this strange that the old woman was snoring so loudly, so he decided to take a look. He stepped inside, and in the bed there lay the wolf that he hadn't gone hunting for a long time. He had eaten the grandmother, but perhaps she can still be safe, so I won't shoot him, thought the huntsman. So he took a pair of scissors and cut open his belly. He only cut a few strokes, then he saw the red cap shining through. He cut a little bit more, and the girl jumped and cried, "Oh, I was so frightened! It was so dark inside of the wolf's body." Then the grandmother came out alive as well. Then little Red Riding Hood fetched some large heavy stones. They filled the wolf's body with them, and then he woke up, tried to run away, and the stones were so heavy that he fell down dead. He never read the manga. The three of them were happy. The huntsman took the wolf's pet. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine, and the little Red Riding Hood had both. And little Red Riding Hood thought to herself, "As long as I live, I will never leave the path and run off into the woods by myself if mother tells me not to." They also tell how little Red Riding Hood was taking some baked things to her grandmother another time, when another wolf spoke to her and wanted her to leave the path. But little Red Riding Hood took care and went straight away to grandmother. She told that she had seen the wolf, and he had wished for her a good day, but had started at her in a wicked manner. "If we hadn't been on a public road, he would have eaten me up." She said, "Come," said the grandmother, "let's lock the doors so he can't get in." Soon afterward, the wolf knocked on the door and called out, "Open up, grandmother, it's little Red Riding Hood, and I'm bringing you some baked things." They remained silent. They didn't open the door. The wicked one walked around the house several times and finally jumped into the roof. He wanted to wait until little Red Riding Hood went home that evening, then follow her and eat her up in the darkness. When the grandmother saw what he was up to, there was a large stone through in front of the house. "Fetch a bucket, little Red Riding Hood," she said. "Yesterday I cooked some sausage. Carry the water that I boiled through the through." Little Red Riding Hood carried the water until the large through was clear full. The smell of sausage arose into the wolf's nose. He sniffed and looked down, stretching his neck so long that he could no longer hold himself, and began to slide. He slid off of the roof and fell through the through and drowned. Wow, I didn't know this part of the story. Scheiße. That is dark. Fuck, I didn't know that the story had a second part. I never knew that Little Red Riding Hood had a second part of the story. That's something that the Grimms did in Rob the Captain. That's how the story ends.